What if I told you that ancient mystics, tucked away in forgotten monasteries and temples, discovered profound secrets about human consciousness, secrets that modern science is only now beginning to rediscover and validate? Imagine for a moment that the keys to unlocking your mind's fullest potential were not created in a high-tech lab, but were passed down through whispers and ancient texts for thousands of years. We're about to embark on a journey that bridges the gap between the mystical and the scientific, revealing how ancient wisdom is not just relevant today, but is leading the charge in our understanding of the brain, consciousness, and reality itself. This isn't just about history, it's about unlocking a new dimension of your own mind. For centuries, from the serene temples of ancient Egypt to the high mountain monasteries of the Himalayas, spiritual practitioners dedicated their lives to one singular goal: exploring the inner cosmos of human consciousness. They weren't just philosophers, they were inner scientists. Through rigorous and disciplined practices like meditation, breathwork, and focused intention, they claimed to access higher states of awareness, states that transcended the everyday experience of reality. They spoke of blissful unity, profound insights, and the ability to consciously influence their own well-being. To the outside world, these might have sounded like fantastical claims or religious dogma, but what if they were actually mapping the very territory that neuroscientists are exploring today with fMRI machines and EEG monitors? They were creating a practical, hands-on user manual for the human mind, long before we even knew what a neuron was. The secrets they uncovered are not relics of the past, they are timeless technologies for personal transformation. Let's dive into the first secret, a concept that originates from Vedic texts over 3,000 years old. They called it Prana Vidya, which translates to the science of life force or the knowledge of energy. In this ancient view, prana is the fundamental energy that animates all of life. It's not just the breath, it's the subtle energy that flows through your body, governing your physical health, your mental clarity, and your emotional state. The ancient yogis believed that by learning to control and direct this prana, primarily through specific breathing techniques known as pranayama, you could master your own mind and body. They developed incredibly sophisticated methods to consciously regulate their heart rate, body temperature, and even their brainwave patterns. This wasn't just a belief, it was a practical science of self-mastery. They taught that when your prana is flowing freely and harmoniously, you experience vitality, focus, and joy. But when it's blocked or depleted, it leads to disease, anxiety, and mental fog. The key, they said, was in the breath. The breath was the steering wheel for this vital energy. For a long time, the idea of a life force was dismissed by Western science as unquantifiable mysticism. But that's all changing. Recent studies, including groundbreaking research from institutions like Harvard and Stanford, are starting to provide stunning scientific validation for what these ancient yogis knew all along. Neuroscientists have discovered that controlled breathing practices, the very core of Prana Vidya, have a direct and measurable impact on our nervous system. When you practice deep, slow breathing, you activate the vagus nerve, which is the main highway of your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your body's rest and digest mode. It lowers your heart rate, reduces blood pressure, and floods your brain with calming neurochemicals like GABA. In essence, modern science has confirmed that by controlling your breath, you are directly manipulating your own biology and brain chemistry. We now have fMRI scans showing how meditation and pranayama can physically change the structure of the brain, increasing gray matter in areas associated with focus, emotional regulation, and self-awareness. It's not magic, it's neuroscience. The ancients just got there first, using the laboratory of their own bodies. Now, for the second secret, which is as beautiful as it is profound: sacred geometry. Take, for instance, the Tibetan monks who would spend days, even weeks, meticulously creating intricate sand mandalas. To the casual observer, it might look like a painstaking artistic endeavor. But for the monks, it's a deep form of meditation and a tool for reprogramming the mind. Each color, each line, each symbol in the mandala represents a specific aspect of the universe and consciousness. By focusing on these geometric patterns, The monks believed they were creating a blueprint for enlightenment within their own minds. They understood that the universe is built on patterns, from the spiral of a galaxy to the branching of a tree to the structure of a snowflake. They believed these same universal patterns are mirrored within our own consciousness. The mandala was a way to visually and meditatively align their inner world with the harmonious order of the outer cosmos. It was a technology for tuning the mind to the frequency of creation itself. After days of work, they would ritualistically destroy the mandala, sweeping the sand away to symbolize the impermanence of all things. The real mandala wasn't the one on the floor. It was the one built inside their own consciousness. And here again, modern science is catching up, this time from an unexpected field: neuroscience and perception. Our brains are fundamentally pattern recognition machines. When we look at geometric shapes, especially those with a high degree of symmetry and harmony like the ones found in mandalas, specific neural pathways are activated. These patterns can induce a state of flow and focused attention, quieting the brain's default mode network, the part responsible for mind-wandering, anxiety, and self-referential chatter. Studies in neuroaesthetics show that viewing art and patterns that we find beautiful can trigger the release of dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical, and can lead to states of calm and contemplation. So, when the monks were focusing on these sacred patterns, they were essentially using an external visual tool to guide their brains into a meditative state. They were hacking their own neurology, using geometry to build new neural pathways for focus, tranquility, and insight. The sacred geometry wasn't just symbolic, it was a functional neurotool. The third and perhaps most mind-bending secret sits at the crossroads where the deepest spiritual traditions meet the furthest frontiers of modern physics. It's the idea of interconnectedness, or non-duality. Mystics from traditions all over the world, through deep meditation, have consistently reported an experience of dissolving the sense of a separate self and merging with a unified field of consciousness. A cosmic web where everything is fundamentally connected to everything else. They described a reality where the observer and the observed are one. This is the ultimate peak experience described in many spiritual paths. A direct knowing that you are not a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in a drop. Now hold that thought and let's turn to quantum physics. At the beginning of the 20th century, physicists exploring the subatomic world stumbled upon a reality that was just as strange and paradoxical as anything the mystics described. They discovered quantum entanglement, which Einstein famously called spooky action at a distance. This is the phenomenon where two particles can become linked in such a way that measuring one instantaneously affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. It suggests a deep, hidden layer of reality where space and separation are an illusion. Furthermore, the observer effect in quantum mechanics shows that the very act of observing a particle changes its state. The consciousness of the observer is not separate from the reality being observed. It's an active participant. Physicists are now grappling with the idea that at its most fundamental level, the universe may be a unified field of information or consciousness from which all of physical reality emerges. It seems that the most advanced physics is pointing to the same conclusion the mystics reached centuries ago. Separation is an illusion, and everything is one. So what does this all mean? These three secrets, the science of life force, the neural power of sacred geometry, and the unified field of consciousness, are not separate ideas. They are threads in a single, magnificent tapestry. They reveal that ancient wisdom and modern science are not opposing forces, but rather two different languages describing the same ultimate reality. They are two sides of the same coin. The ancients explored consciousness from the inside out, through direct experience. Science explores it from the outside in, through measurement and observation. And now, these two paths are converging, meeting in the middle to give us a richer, more complete picture of who we are and what we are capable of. The true secret is that the power to heal your body, focus your mind, and connect with a deeper reality is not something you need to acquire. It's already within you, coded into your biology and your consciousness. The ancient maps are being validated by modern tools, and they are all pointing you back to yourself. The greatest adventure is the journey inward. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of mind and mystery. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, so you don't miss our next deep dive. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.